Today, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about two pressing areas of interest in the world of work and career. It surely is because it is actually from May 2025. Let me go ahead and do that now. Fast Company. It says nearly a quarter of the United States is functionally unemployed. Here's what that means and the facts. Functional unemployment is far higher than the widely reported 4.2% unemployment, an area that my colleague Alan and I have been discussing for many, many years. And so ultimately it says here, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, unemployment rates have not shifted in recent years. Doesn't say months. The current unemployment rate is being reported at 4.2%, just slightly an increase of the 4% it hovered between 2022 and 2024. But according to a new report, another measurement, unemployment is much higher and steadily growing. The Ludwig Institute of Shared Economic Prosperity, a nonprofit producing original economic research, documents the true rate of unemployment. This rate refers to functional unemployment, which takes into account those who are job seeking yet unable to find work, as well as those with full-time jobs but whose earnings put them below the poverty line of $25,000 a year. The functional unemployment rate has risen for 3 consecutive months to currently 24.4%, which means 1 in 4 U.S. adults, regardless of ethnicity, regardless of gender, regardless of anything, this is 1 in 4 U.S. adults are considered functionally unemployed. The outlook on this trend shows little sign of improvement amid a lack of influx of dependable, good-paying jobs. The report shows that functional unemployment rate is rising to 1.4% among Black workers to 26.7%, a few percentage points away from 33%, which would be 1 in 3. It decreased slightly for white workers, moving from 23.1 to 23%, while the rate for men increased 1.2%, bringing the total to 20%, and women, true unemployment dipped to 0.8 percentage points, but it's still 28.6, something that I have been thinking about and focusing on for many years. Now, I brought up that I'd like to highlight 2 specific components and that I'd like to discuss with you, Alan. And so the first one is this.
Yeah.
The true rate of unemployment. I'd like to give an example beyond this one that they give for our audience. This simply means when a AVP, a project manager, a vice president, a senior manager, a senior director, anyone in marketing, accounting, technology, you name the function of any industry, bank, services company, becomes unemployed for an extended period of time, and then they have to take a job that they actually really don't want, that they are overqualified for, but they have to make ends meet. For example, they work at a delivery. They're a delivery person, or maybe they're an Uber taxi driver, right? Something to make ends meet because nothing's happening for them. Guess what? They become employed by the U.S. government. But yet the AVP, project manager that was making 100, 110, 125, 175 base salary, and now is making 35, maybe a higher than the poverty line. Right? But this particular person might be 35,000, working 60 hours doing Uber, 60 hours making 35,000, 60, 70, 80, 85, 90% pay cut, yet they are categorized as employed, is part of a very severe problem I do not hear anyone in business or government discussing. Your thoughts, Alan?
And together with our work on ICT about these issues, my biggest concern is, when we talk about the 4.2% unemployment or 4.4% employment rate that comes out every month from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, it gets picked up by the media, it gets reported on, and everybody thinks it's okay. Everybody moves on with their day from government to private business. We know that the rate is much, much higher. We know the functional unemployment rate is way higher than that. One of the areas that, again, I think we need to have a bigger definition of that unemployment rate, because it does cause viewers to curse over that data and not think that there's anything bigger going on behind the scenes. And we know that there is. One of the reasons that the government, they use I always find it interesting, Vinay, too. We live in a world where data is everywhere. We can, you turn on a Major League Baseball game and you can get every pitch on StatCast. You watch a golf contest, and every shot has got shot length, down to all of the, all the metrics. Yet when we do unemployment in America, we do surveys. We survey it. We should have the ability to really dive in what the actual number is. I think we do have to get to a better definition of what that unemployment rate is, because it will help change the way that we have our policies in play. It'll change the ways that businesses will work on recruiting and retaining workers.